Hello, welcome to the club, the book club, my book club. It's not official, I'm announcing it right now. Roots are coming in. I think it's about time for me to maybe go back to my natural color, also because I'm paying off debt and I should not be spending money on getting my hair done. That's just not wise. Anyway, the theme of this video is going to be Sochmed. That's abbreviation for social media, okay? I just finished a book called Digital Minimalism. I usually am reading a few different things kind of at the same time. I don't know that that's the best thing to do for retaining purposes, but the one that I'm now kind of starting on is Culture Making by Andy Crouch, which I'm really into. Social media, I pretty much at this point, aside from YouTube, Instagram was the only tempting platform. Twitter to me is, I had it for a while back when I lived in New York and I was acting like I knew a lot about the world and politics. I would post articles. I had to go and take all those down because I shifted and changed my thoughts so much from when I was extremely ignorant that I was like, I cannot have this on record as me supporting this. So, and then Twitter also is where like the intellectuals, the snobby intellectuals that like love the smell of their own farts, those types of people who just like love their brain and think that because they orate well and they are like the world's gift, which kind of annoys me. Swellhead is a word that I learned. Yeah, swellhead, a vain or arrogant person. I mean, every platform is full of them. I'm sometimes kind of a little bit vain. It's, you know, our culture makes it easy to be that way. Swellhead. What was the other one? Lucubration was another one. Now, for all my dyslexics out there, dyslexics, I know it maybe sounded like I said lubrication. I didn't. It was lucubration, which goes really hand in hand with this video now that I'm talking about books and reading. Laborious work, study, thought, etc., especially at night. Get your lucubration on at night, huh? The result of such activity is a learned speech or dissertation. That's a great word. And then I had one more. Prurient. Having inclined to have or characterized by lascivious or lustful thoughts, desires. Having a restless desire or longing, causing lust. I know that. Yes, Twitter to me is where the intellectual swellheads are, whereas Instagram is where I see, how do I put this? How do I explain this? Last year, I had the most divine rerouting of my life. God got to me. I'm getting back into being a person of faith. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I will say it's been one of the most challenging years of my life though, just because that happens and it's the most beautiful blessing that God gets to you and it becomes a priority to get yourself right. It doesn't make living in this world any easier because this world is freaking nuts and wickedness is just like looming, and then you have to Instagram. What was I gonna say about that? Oh, I was gonna say this. Coveting. Okay. So the whole thing about when you're born again and you're sort of going through this process of repentance and getting very acquainted with weaknesses of yours, your sinful nature, your flesh desires and all those things, and kind of like starting to surrender them to the Lord, essentially. Coveting is a huge one. Instagram for me stokes coveting. You know, I see people, and I know that it might just be what it seems, but nonetheless, it stokes the longing for me to like be in a relationship, travel to these beautiful places, resorts, eat these delicious meals. Or just when I see people that are really, really effortlessly creative and they just commit, because I've felt so blocked in so many ways because of some demonic torment that I've had to wrestle with. I would be jealous of how easy it was for people to create. And there was envy there. And then you just see everybody's lives go. People make a ton of money. They get a really great job. They live in a really cute house. And I was like, I'm so tired of not loving what I have. Not thanking God that I have these blessings, that I have all of these things, and I get to plant the seeds and nurture things and all this stuff. So that's, Instagram is like the juggernaut platform that kind of pulls me to it, because it was just the one that for the last, when did Instagram hit? When I moved to LA in 2006, it wasn't really that. I still had a BlackBerry. The iPhone didn't even come out until like what, 2007, 2008. It's just been like 13 years, 12 years, 11 years. The novelty is like done, right? Like the newness. The last 4 relationships I've been in have been men who slid into my DM and there was like this attraction there. Those were all failures that I had to learn really brutal, deep lessons from. So even that, I'm like, I don't want to meet a guy through my DMs. I want the old-fashioned way. I want to be like at the grocery store at the same time as someone, or have a friend throw a party and we meet there. I really love the natural, godly, old-fashioned way of just, you know, happening very organically. Not to say that people don't meet a great fit online. I've just tried it and I'm over it. I deleted my dating app when I moved to Austin, when I left LA in 2019 and moved to Austin. So then the last platform, TikTok, because everybody kept going, you need to do TikTok, you need to do TikTok, you need to speak about all these things that you're talking about on TikTok, you need to do TikTok. I got on TikTok and honestly, I was like, this is from the devil. I know that I was like, what this does to my mind, my time, what I'm seeing on here, there's like witch talk, you know, it makes me very scared and nervous for the future generation, that they're like little babies and they're just thrown into that speed of scrolling. So I deleted that almost, you know, a couple months after beginning it. I was like, I'm not doing this, because I'm a believer. I think that there are things that are out for your mind and your soul, and your spirit can get infected if you open too many doors to too many things. So had to close that door. And I was leaving a movie theater the other day. My friend and I were walking out to the car, and there was a dad with his 2 kids, and the little girl had to have been like 10, maybe 9 or 10. And she was carrying a little Sephora bag. I asked her, I said, what did you get? And she was like, I got a perfume and I got eye patches for the bags under my eyes. And my heart broke in that moment. I just like, I had this feeling of just so much compassion for that generation and wanting to shield them. You know, you're 10 years old, you do not have bags. You do not have bags under your eyes. I wanted to just like hold her and be like, don't let media and culture tell you what's beautiful, because it's not what's beautiful, it's a lie. Saying a prayer for that little girl that she doesn't have body freaking dysmorphia, and then, you know, at 16, 17, 18 starts going and just injecting herself with stuff. It's so sad to me. Anyway, I could just go on so many tangents all the time. I'll just go through a couple of these. So I deleted Instagram like a month ago. I haven't really been posting on it, honestly, since last year, since I was saved, because the meaning was gone and there was too much. And I was sort of repulsed and disgusted by a lot of the stuff that I saw and irritated. You know, I was like scrolling through and I was like, this just feels like a bunch of people selling People who are not qualified to be telling you how to do anything, selling you stuff and calling it providing value. And that might be a judgment, but it also is a reality. You know, I don't know that that it's possible to remove a type of judgment and discernment. Because how else are you supposed to see right from wrong? Or know who's a false prophet and who's really true and full of goodness, right? Like there has to be a judgment of, so that you can protect yourself from snake oil salesmen, which I've been sold on a lot of garbage. A lot of garbage. Spent a lot of money on that stuff. Garbage is actually quite expensive. Colonize the core of our daily life. It's a powerful way to put it. They're machine learning algorithms to digest your humanity. Digest your humanity into statistical slivers that could then be mined to push you toward targeted ads and stickier content. I mean, say it, Cal, because I am a sucker for lipsticks and blouses, okay, and sweats. Every time I open my freaking Instagram, or when I was, there are ads for lipsticks, there are ads for sweats and cozy clothes, and more political arguing, and just really, just so much. What a strange world, huh? I'm thinking about it right now. I just got hit with like how bizarre the world has gotten as quickly as it has. Very weird. I could spend a lot of money on lipstick. How strange is that? I'm like obsessed with lipsticks and books. Books and lipsticks. Oh, this isn't it, but I liked this. Alter goes on to describe users as gambling every time they post something on a social media platform. Will you get likes or hearts or retweets, or will it languish with no feedback? And then when you don't get feedback, it does do something to your spirit in a weird way. They know this. The people that engineered this stuff know that. The former creates what one Facebook engineer calls bright dings of pseudo pleasure. And if there's one thing I am done with, it's pseudo anything. Pseudo spirituality, pseudo teachers, you know, people who like should not be teaching other people how to live life. Life coaches, all the freaking shit. Sorry, Lord, I'm trying to clean up my mouth. Because you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. Yeah, you just like get to a point where you're like, I'm not a puppet and I'm not a product and I don't want to be exploited. A diminishing of our soul's authority. Whew. Technology is encroaching on our autonomy. We're preying with increasing precision on deep-seated vulnerabilities in our brains, while we still naively believed that we were just fiddling with fun gifts handed down from the nerd gods. Yeah, it's much more sinister than that, isn't it? You know, he goes on the importance of solitude so that you have time with your own thoughts about things. A lot of people, especially anxious people, you know, they can't even be alone with their own thoughts. And I'm such a solitudinarian. I have bouts where I'm like, wow, maybe I'm having too much solitude because now I'm just feeling like I've isolated myself. Different issue, different challenge, especially in the last couple years with all the hoodwinkery that's gone on. Solitude requires you to move past reacting to information created by other people and focus instead on your own thoughts and experiences, aka your local immediate surroundings. Solitude deprivation. Having a relationship with your own mind so you can monitor what's going through there. Because that's another thing. After, you know, becoming a born-again Christian, you embark on like really having some very deep changes go down, and to be constantly renewing of the mind. That's very hard to do with the baggage of even your past posts, right? So a lot of my following on Instagram know me as like a very mystical, kind of witchy person, which I am not anymore. But there are people that liked me in that state that would now see me in this state. And and would be like, oh, she was so much more funny when she was a witch, you know? But I don't have any desire in any of my being to be witchy or to participate in any form of occultism and witchcraft. After the last year, everything that's gone down, I'm clear on that. Again, get thee behind me, Satan. You know what I mean? When you avoid solitude, you miss out on the positive things it brings you. The ability to clarify hard problems, to regulate your emotions, to build moral courage. How many people do you know that are really good at regulating their emotions? Not many, because we've just been ramrodded. We've just been ramrodded. You know, humanity, like, was humankind really ready for all this progress? I say this and I know people's lives have really improved, you know, but I'm thinking about the youngins. I think the youngins I feel really bad for the world that they are being given. Everybody's depressed and anxious and comparative, and nothing's good enough. At least I'm talking about this also as an American girl. I'm aware that there are many places in the world that have things way worse or very, very different challenges and tragedies going on all around. So I'm not unaware that, you know, in America we have our own very strange issues happening. When an entire cohort unintentionally eliminated time alone with their thoughts from their lives, these teenagers have lost the ability to process and make sense of their emotions, or to reflect on who they are and what really matters, or even just to allow their brains time to power down their critical social circuits, right? See, I knew I highlighted it in blue. I remembered that, I retained that. Okay, so this is what kind of happened for me when I deleted it. Not because I was craving, you know, getting likes, or there wasn't really a thirst trap going on when I deleted it. Not because he was craving a particular digital habit, but because he didn't know what to do with himself once his general access to the world of connected screens was removed. That's a very uncomfortable feeling when you literally don't know what to do with yourself and you just have all these options. And then you're like, okay, let me make a list. You know, let me kind of wrestle with this. And sometimes you got nothing. And then the whole day goes by and you feel not productive. This is a very American problem. And that's probably one of my biggest things of what causes me a lot of turmoil, is that I just don't know what to do with myself. And I'm aware of the opportunities, I'm aware of the avenues that present themselves, but it's like, what do I do? And then there's a little bit of fear with speaking the mind. If you begin decluttering the low-value digital distractions from your life before you've convincingly filled the void they were helping you ignore, the experience will be unnecessarily unpleasant at best and a massive failure at worst. So, renovating what they do with their free time. He's like, when, you know, it molests your focus. And I was like, I've never heard it put like that, but, you know, it's what it feels like sometimes. It feels like your focus got molested. The value that you receive from a pursuit is often proportional to the energy invested. So you got to really dedicate. This is where the depth comes in. Craft, any activity where you apply skill to create something valuable. All right, so that's kind of it for this video. Get a little bit old school, be a little old fashioned, right? It's just because things are new doesn't mean it's better. Not everything that glitters is gold, huh? Thanks for watching my book review book club with Mad. Take care. Toodaloo!